Good evening. From UINDY TV News, I'm Andile Bekker.
And I'm Alli Cook.
UINDY TV News starts now.
An Indianapolis man, Bradley Woods, has been indicted on 21 charges, and his wife, Paige, faces charges of obstruction. These charges stem from a tragic incident on December 23, 2023, when 20-year-old Avery May lost his life in a head-on collision on Southport Road. Avery's girlfriend, Riley White, was also seriously injured.
Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears presented the case to a grand jury due to uncertainties about whether Woods fulfilled his legal obligation to remain at the scene. Avery May's mother expressed in relief, stating, "It's been a long and excruciating 448 days for all of us waiting for an arrest. We are relieved to finally see a hint of justice." Bradley and Paige Woods were arrested on Saturday but have since posted bond. They're scheduled to make their first court appearance on these charges Tuesday morning. Indianapolis International Airport is packed as spring breakers take to the skies. Long lines at security checkpoints, crowded departure gates, and eager vacationers have become the norm as thousands of Hoosiers head to warmer destinations. Airport officials report a significant increase in passenger traffic compared to the previous weeks, with many travelers flying to popular destinations like Florida and Cancun. This has caused longer wait times, but IND staffs are working hard to keep things running smoothly. Passengers are therefore encouraged to arrive at least 2 hours before their check-in, check their flight statuses, and be prepared for a busier traveling experience. This will cause a stress-free start to your trip.
Hoosiers gathered at the Indiana State House on Monday in support of Governor Mike Braun's property tax reform proposal. Braun spoke during the rally, stating, quote, "The folks we need to get their minds right about real property tax relief. They say they're not hearing it. Well, they're going to be hearing it after today." This plan would have capped its increase by 2 to 3% and had more general relief, while the latest would only focus on senior citizens and those who are buying their first house.
President Trump has nominated Brian Bedford, CEO of Indianapolis-based Republic Airways, to lead the Federal Aviation Administration. Bedford joined Republic Airways in 1999, and in nearly 20 years as CEO, he's grown the airline from $85 million in revenue to $1.3 billion. This nomination comes amid a series of aviation accidents that have raised concerns among travelers. Chris Rocheleau has served as the FAA admin since January, replacing former agency head Michael Whitaker, who stepped down after Trump's inauguration.
Indiana is experiencing significant population growth, driven largely by immigrants, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Indiana's population has grown by 44,144 residents in 2024, reaching a total of 6.92 million. This is the state's largest population increase since 2008. The influx of foreign immigrants is outpacing natural population gains from birth and domestic migration. Studies have shown that Indiana as a whole is benefiting from international migration.
Indiana officials are quarantining more Indiana farms after health officials discovered a new bird flu case in J. Adams County. The new quarantines affect 1.3 million birds this year alone. 14 farms have been quarantined in J. Adams counties. Millions of birds in Indiana have been euthanized due to the virus.
5 individuals were arrested after breaking into the historic Bethel Temple in Indianapolis to film a rap music video. The group smashed a glass door to gain entry, and police found several people, some with guns, fleeing the scene. Inside, officers discovered a gun and filming equipment. The temple, built in 1925 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, has been vacant for years. Mark Dallas, of the Indiana Landmakers Foundation expressed disappointment, urging respect for the site's history. The suspects face misdemeanor trespassing charges, and it's unclear if their video will be finished or released.
It's been nice to see the sun, and hopefully it's here to stay. Jace, what do you have for us?
Unfortunately, it is not here to stay, but today is the warmest day we're going to see for about the next week. Also, a little bit windy outside, 63 degrees as we head towards sunset, but that is pushing through some weather. A low-pressure system is currently sat over Illinois, bringing along a cold front that'll make things cooler over the next week, but also bringing with it some severe weather chances. A slight risk of severe weather today and a possible chance of a spin-up tornado or two within the area, but mostly just a wind risk and not much worry to that. But it should bring with it some storms, some heavy rain, and some lightning and thunder. But as we head into the night hours, things will cool off. That rain may switch over to some snow chances as we head into Thursday. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, some more local news up next.
National, local, campus. Headlines you won't find anywhere else. From the White House to your community, we've got you covered. Stay informed and stay connected. Don't miss out on the stories shaping our world. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. UINDY TV News.
UINDY adjunct instructor of music, Meadow Brigham, and associate professor of English, Liz Whitaker, collabed for a special faculty artist concert series. This program explores how music and poetry can be a vessel for healing, an important topic during March, which is Disabilities Awareness Month. The concert consisted of a song, piano playing, and poems that were written based on Brigham's experiences with the temporal lobe epilepsy and autism. Brigham says that we have to save democracy through visible, sincere, artistic expressions of the self.
May is quickly approaching and Hoosiers are getting their engines ready for the biggest month of the year in Indiana. The excitement of the party has started now with the release of the tickets for the AES 500 Festival Parade on May 24th at noon, with the theme being Connected Through May. Bob Bryan, president and CEO of the 500 Festival, explains that it's one of the largest and most respected parades. There will be giant balloons, floats, local celebrities, and more. Tickets are starting at $25 and can be purchased at the link below the screen.
Fountain Square residents Lindsay and Evan Cornett and their 3 kids painted a traffic barrier with bright red with some white hearts. The art adds a personal touch, but the barriers have a serious purpose. Families residing in Fountain Square say that speeding is a problem, and they wish it was more pedestrian friendly. The Cornetts were among a dozen other people painting knee-high plastic rectangular traffic barriers for an upcoming tactual urbanism project in Fountain Square. The Fountain Square Neighborhood Association received a $6,500 matching grant for the project.
Bobcat trapping season will go into effect this fall after the controversial measure passed its final hurdle at the Indiana National Resource Commission. The approved trapping season will extend to 40 southern Indiana counties and place a limit of 1 bobcat per trapper. The entire season is capped at 250 bobcats for all trappers combined. Olber's, a program leader with DNR, says that hunting will not be allowed right out of the gate, as these native cats used to be endangered.
It's Pit Bull Education Month at the Humane Society for Hamilton County. In central Indiana, there are hundreds of dogs waiting for their forever home. The initiative, put forth by the HSHC, is aimed to reshape the narrative surrounding pit bulls, as over 60% of the shelter's dog population is made up of the breed, according to community engagement manager Lily Darling. She said negative perceptions of the dogs often stem from social media portrayals, leading people to assume the worst case scenarios from past incidents. These stereotypes put strains on shelters, but the HSHC hopes to change this. For the month of March, pit bulls at the HSHC will be available for $25. The adoption fee will cover essential pet services, such as vaccinations, spaying or neutering, microchipping, as well as a complimentary vet visit.
Cleanup is now underway after the deadly weather tore through the nation this weekend, killing 42 and displacing hundreds. The massive storm system created a high winds that triggered more than 100 wildfires, tornadoes, and dangerous dust storms. The National Weather Service confirmed at least 56 tornadoes and 1,000 storm reports. In total, the weather events had an impact on over 100 million people across 10 states. President Trump deployed the National Guard to Arkansas as his administration is, quote, ready to assist and state local officials as they help their communities to try and recover from the damage. Indiana has seen sunshine and storms in the past few days, but Jace, what do you expect in this coming weekend? Are we going to get any severe weather storms?
So that severe weather is mostly a today threat with that slight risk still in place. As that cold front pushes through, it'll leave behind it some possible rain and maybe even snow/sleet chances in the early morning hours on Thursday. But Thursday, a high of 54. That rain will persist about until the mid-afternoon as that cold front fully pushes through to leave behind some cooler weather on Thursday night and into Friday. Friday, though, still a high of 54 as a high-pressure system moves north from the Dixie states. That'll bring with it some drier, some more constant weather and much-needed dryness compared to the rain that we had last weekend and on Wednesday and Thursday. That'll remain in place also on Saturday, but a high of 48. So a little bit cooler, but some much needed dryness, like I said previously. As we head, though, into Sunday, a low-pressure system is brewing out in the Great Plains. It'll make its way north and east up toward about Michigan. That'll bring some severe weather threats back to the Dixie Alley and back to Arkansas area again. But for us, just some consistent rain almost all day on Sunday. But as we head into the next week, no sun is expected until next Thursday, so expect the clouds to be in place. Some more national news when we come back.
National, local, campus. Headlines you won't find anywhere else. From the White House to your community, we've got you covered. Stay informed and stay connected. Don't miss out on the stories shaping our world. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. UINDY TV News.
Two people have been hospitalized and a suspect is in custody after a shooting at a resort that happened in Tempe, Arizona yesterday afternoon. Police say the incident started on the freeway and then moved to the pool area of the resort. Mark Osborne, a guest at the resort, went to take a walk outside when he saw SWAT members cleaning out the pool area. He was told there was an active shooter and to go back to his room. After being told the coast was clear, Mark went back outside to walk around. He told UINDY TV that where he was walking before is now taped off with caution tape along the pool area.
The U.S. Department of Education announced that they are working on opening 2 more investigations into 2 universities, making the total 43. University of Northern Texas and Rice University allegedly engaged in race exclusionary practices in their graduate programs. This violates Title VI of the Civil Rights Act with partnering with a PhD project. This organization provides insights and networking opportunities to doctoral business students. And speaking of Texas, a grieving husband says, quote, the reckless Texas abortion law led to his pregnant wife's death.
Yeah, it's such a sad story. Hope Ingumezi had to bury his wife after he took her to Texas hospital for a miscarriage. She was only 11 weeks pregnant.
His wife, Portia, wasn't given a D&C, a surgical procedure that can be used when a miscarriage isn't complete and the patient is bleeding excessively. The doctors hesitated to perform it, fearing the state's criminal penalties.
In 2021, Texas lawmakers passed a near total abortion ban between 2019 and 2022. The maternal mortality rate increased by a whopping 56%. Nationally, the rate has increased by 11%.
While hospitals are turning to artificial intelligence to address the ongoing nursing shortage, AI-powered virtual nurses are now assisting with patient care. But is this the future of healthcare or a step away from the personal touch patients' needs? They are designed to handle routine tasks such as answering patient questions, monitoring vital signs, and even providing emotional support. Supporters of the technology say that it can help reduce the workload for nurses, allowing them to focus on more complex medical needs. But some healthcare workers worry that relying too much on AI could reduce human interaction, which is often crucial to a patient's recovery. Hospitals across the U.S. are testing these systems to see how well they can integrate with existing staff.
Harvard is soon bringing a big change for their tuition plans. On Monday, Harvard announced that their undergraduate tuition will be free for students and families who make $200,000 a year or less annually. This is the move to make the tuition as affordable as ever. The expansion in financial aid will begin the 2025-26 academic year. According to the press release from Harvard's president, Alan M. Garber, the aid expansion will enable approximately 86% of U.S. families to qualify for Harvard financial aid. Currently, 55% of undergraduates receive financial aid, with their families paying an average of $1,700 for the 2023-24 year. Budapest,
Hungary is continuing to crack down on the country's LGBTQ+ community. Members submitted a bill to Parliament to ban the popular Budapest Pride event. This bill will make it an offense to attend or hold events that violate Hungary's, quote, child protection legislation, which prohibits the deception or protection of homosexuality to minors. Attending prohibited events would carry fines up to $200,000 Hungarians, which is 546 US dollars.
The Oscars were a success when hosted by Conan O'Brien, and he will host them again next year. Conan will return as the 98th host of the awards. The awards are currently scheduled for Sunday, March 15th, 2026. Producers R.A.J. Kapoor, Katie Mulan, Jeff Rose, and Mike Sweeney will also be making their return. Craig Erwish, president of Disney Television Group, said Conan delivered an unforgettable performance at the Oscars, and we are honored to have him producing the team back next year.
Do you watch the Oscars, Andile?
So unfortunately, I couldn't watch the presentation this year, but I am planning to watch Anora, which, if you didn't know, was up for many awards. Have you been a big Oscars fan this year?
You know, I usually catch the highlights on, TikTok, but I really want to watch, I think it's Flow, the animated movie, and I think that one's
Oh, is it the one about like the cat that's like...
Yeah, and there's like no voices in it, but I've heard really cool things about it, so that's definitely something I'm looking forward to watching.
I'm really, really looking forward to the movies that are coming out in this next year. I don't know if you've seen, but hopefully 2026, I'm hoping for The Batman 2. That's one of the movies I'm looking forward to the most.
I don't keep up with Batman, so.
That's all right, but for those of you who have been keeping up, thank you for tuning in to UINDY TV News.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at UINDY TV to stay up to date on all things sports, news, and entertainment.
And as always, have a good night.
And be safe, Indy.